Hello, hello. I don't know if anyone's gonna join this time. No one's joined like all week, but we'll see. Yeah. So we sorry about yesterday. I was just again really out of it, but now I am here, and we will be doing the last stream before tomorrow's grand finals at 3 o'clock EST. Oh. Shoot, I just knocked something over on my desk. Sorry that I knocked something over on my desk. Anyway, yeah, we one last go around for reviewing games here. So yeah, we're going over CB's 7 top cut games today because he had to go through losers bracket, so he has more games than Matt Sheen did. Yeah, I just want to get started, so let's do that. So we'll start by analyzing CB's top cut draft. So CB actually, I believe he had first pick overall. Oh my god, okay. I'm pretty sure he was the first pick. It might one person first pick Zapdos. I think it was him. Let me look. Yeah, CB first pick Zapdos, which is not something we see very often, but obviously it's done him well. So here we see Zapdos, Suicune, Snorlax, Registeel, Jolteon, Hitmontop, Quillfish, Trapinch, pre-standard bulky offense team with Jolteon for speed. I like the double electrics. Suicune and Quillfish both are decent at punishing grounds, so that opens up these guys a lot. Snorlax and Suicune were both on CB's Pools team, and he did very well with that. On the Pools team, he also had Raikou, so a top-tier electric like Zapdos, and he had Bronzong, which is a good, very strong steel-type like Registeel. So kind of a similar composition to an extent. But I really like this version. Just like with the previous one, we have 2 really good wing cons and Suicune and Snorlax, good offense with Jolteon, Zapdos, even Hitmontop. Multiple modes, you can go rain with like Quillfish, Jolteon stuff. Trapinch just funny. I don't think he's gonna come to. I don't think he's come to 8 games yet, but like, it's kind of funny. It does things sometimes. But really, this top 7 is very good. Hitmontop is a really solid spare to pair with Zapdos. I think it fits beautifully on this team. I really like it because it also breaks down rocks and steel types for Snorlax, which means Snorlax, if CB can remove the ghost types that might stop Snorlax. Snorlax can kind of run mono normal on this team if he really wants to, depending on the matchup. I mean, not in this matchup, like sometimes. So that's a pretty nice advantage of him on top as well. Yeah, big fan of this. A big fan of this composition. That said, let's get into his first game, round 1 of top 16 versus Food. So on Food side, we see Raikou, Skarmory, Blastoise, Mismagius, Mamoswine, Gallade, Vileplume, and Zangoose. So we do see the ground type is Mamoswine, which is super pressured by a combination of Suicune and Hitmontop, which means that Zapdos and Jolteon can spam their electric moves relatively freely. The one issue is that you want probably HP. Jolteon wants HP Fire for Mamo and Vileplume, but also HP Ground for Raikou. So kind of tough to make a call there. But I think with the amount you can pressure Mamo, I think you don't necessarily need HP Fire. And Jolteon, like bulky Jolteon, is a really solid Raikou check in general. I mean, Raikou's definitely running his own HP Ground because I don't think it's gonna respect Trapinch in coverage wise. Skarmory Mismag's a solid hazard core. Hitmontop can spin on it though. Like it can foresight, it can hit Mismag for decent damage, like Pursuit. It can win Pursuit right. It's not bad into it per se. It has Sucker Punch too. But of course, it's not the easiest thing for Hitmontop to get a spin off on. So those hazards from Skarmory could be very branding. However, CUB is really good ways to pressure the Skarmory himself. We also see CUB's hazards look pretty good here, but with the rocks and the spikes. But Blastoise is a really solid spare in CUB. However, if he makes aggressive plays into Pokemon like Zapdos, Jolteon, or Suicune on the Blastoise, he can get a huge positioning advantage. And all 3 of those Pokemon look very strong to Food's team, difficult for him to deal with. Suicune in particular looks really good if it can get boosted before Raikou comes in, or if like Raikou goes down early, which very well could happen. Mamoswine looks decent offensively here, but Suicune kind of checks it, especially if depending on his set. Hitmontop with Tim is a pretty decent check. One thing I forgot to mention is CU's team is pretty fighting weak outside Zapdos. So this Gallade is in prime position to do a lot of damage depending on the set. I think I'm going to win CUB here, though. I think his ability to pressure on Mamoswine is really going to open up his electrics to do a lot of work, and Suicune is also very strong here. Let's get into it. Game 1 of 7. CUB versus Food. Zapdos lead into Mamoswine. So we're going to switch out to Hitmontop immediately on the rocks. Makes sense. The Misspec's going to come in, and we're just going to thief it. Pop the core bear. That was 24, and we saw it's not Intimidate. I mean, it's a freaking Technician. And then we're going to thief it again, get it low. Misspec's going to Pain Split, though. Thief gets super well. We're packing Bullet Punch. We are. So Hitmontop has successfully defeated the Spinwalker of a very unique Thief set. I like that a lot. It's very rare you see Thief in Gen 4 with its 40 base power, because usually Knockoff has enough distribution that you don't necessarily need to run Thief on something like you do in Gens 2 and 3 sometimes. It's still a pretty weak move. Both Technician is not the worst, I guess. It worked out here. Galley is going to show to be more of a supportive set. Clicking Will on the Zapdos. Zapdos is going to roost up here as the Vileplume comes in, though. So what does Vileplume want to do here? In comes the Registeel. Vileplume's going to Leech Seed, but it's going to miss. So it's probably a Subseed variant. Food goes out to Skarmory as CB gets his own Rock Slip. The spikes are coming off from Skarm as Registeel's going to paralyze it. Just start firing off Seismic Tosses. Try to chip it down. Maybe some full paras. Now he goes up to Hitmontop to get off the spin, forcing as the Skarmory. So in comes the Gallade to make the offensive positioning for Food. Makes sense. But those hazards are gone now, which is pretty nice for CB, because he can bring in Zapdos on this Gallade very freely. Zen Headbutt's going to miss. Ooh, it's another 90% miss, unfortunately, for Food. That might have 2-killed Zapdos after the burn, honestly. I think it probably would have, depending on his set. Discharge is going to come out, doing very well to the Vileplume, not getting the para. Bear's going to click it again. Still not getting the para, which is 30%, so about coin flip to get 1 out of 2. Leech is going to come off. Zapdos is now taking a lot of chip every turn, so it's probably has to roost on this turn. He's going to roost, and Food's going to use the opportunity to gain his Mamoswine and get a bit of health back with the Leech Seed. We're going to go to Suicune here. Very solid Mammo check. Mammo's going to put the rocks back up. Vileplume is going to be switching as Suicune's going to Calm Mind. Suicune's just got Ice Beam, and the Vileplume's going to take 55 here and get frozen. Wow, that's unfortunate. Sure would the Vileplume had something to answer to Suicune. Not sure what, maybe like Seamar or something to do huge damage, but now Suicune's at +2, and once Suicune's at +2, it's hard for Raikou to beat it. If Thunderbolt only doing 32 here, we're going to get the para, though. But Surf's going to come out and do a whopping 70% to that Raikou. It's going to sub. It's going to be fishing for a full para. That's probably his best play in the situation. But he is not going to take. He's not going to get it. He is going to switch out to Jolteon on the obvious Thunderbolt here, because Raikou has nothing else it can do. And Mamoswine's going to be the switch here. We're going to gain power. It's HP Fire. Okay, I was wrong. I really thought it would be HP Ground, but it's HP Fire. Ice Shard crit's going to do a ton of damage to Jolteon. And a second HP Fire is going to get a slightly lower roll, not knocking out the Mamoswine. However, Jolteon is going to stay in and quick it again. Mamoswine is going to go down here. CBB is now up 6-4. Galley comes in. We're just going to discharge. No para. Zen Headbutt's going to come out and knock out the Jolteon. A little bit of lefties for the Gallade. We're going to bring in Zapdos, which we now know how speed, because we know it's not Scarf. And Zapdos is going to go for a Drill Peck, but that does not do much damage because of the burn. Very cool prep from Food working out with the burn with the Willis Gallade. Gallade's going to get a bit of lefties back after it and take out Zapdos with Zen Headbutt. Let's get protect for a bit more lefties. Out to Skarmory. You get fire of a Thunder Wave. Good call by Food to not let his Gallade get paralyzed. Hitmontop's going to come in, basically rolling that back into Registeel. This time, Registeel's going to Seismic Toss, get off 30 on the Skarmory, force it out, and Suicune comes in here. We're going to switch back out to Hitmontop. As Skarmory's going to use this opportunity to get rid of spikes, and we're going to spin, so get rid of those again. Rocks are now gone for the rest of the game, and Snorlax can game for free here and start cursing. Skarmory's going to spike, but now Snorlax is at +1. It's going to Fire Punch and do 55. That crit may have mattered, depends on the spread on both Pokemon. Then Galley's going to come in close combat into the Snorlax and KO with another crit. What a hacksy game. Oh my god. That's huge. In comes the Registeel here. Food is just going to sack off his Vileplume. Makes sense. It's frozen. Can't do much. There's nothing that's going to give you the free turns to really thaw here. Raikou is going to come in. Just 5 HP ground. Doing very little to this Registeel. And gets paralyzed for his trouble. This gets a Seismic Toss here, taking out the Raikou. So it's just Gallade versus the world now. However, there are two. It might be able to do it. Closcoma's going to come out, not take out the Registeel, and Registeel can finish off with Iron Head. It's got Thunder Wave just to be safe. And now it can follow up with Iron Head, so we know this thing does have a priority, a like Shadow Sneak or whatever. That CB's gonna take home the win. Pretty hacksy game on both sides, but really like both sides prep here. Drill Peck Zapdos is cool for stuff like Vileplume, for even Gallade. I feel it's being for Vileplume, but that Thief Bullet Punch hit on top with Lumberry was a really smart way to get around the Miss Maggie system throughout the game. It spun 2 times, and both of those 2 times had a huge impact, so eliminating the Miss Maggies early with that was gigantic. Lots of power spam from CB's team makes sense. Food's team, as if I can pull up the doc, really hates paralysis. Now, on Food side, I do like the Gallade. That was really interesting. I have not seen it used like that very often, so big fan of that set. That feels too crazy. Obviously, unfortunate so the hacks, but there was a ton on both sides. Kind of hard to say who it favored more. But with that, CB's going to move into round 2 of winner's bracket. And maybe if I can get this doc to please load. I don't know why it refreshed. Okay. My computer's really bad, as we've seen on previous streams, so it might take me a second to get this fixed. Sorry. Okay. On to game 2. We have CBB versus, in top 8 load, Crying. So, 2 very, very strong players we've seen all term. I believe Crying was the 1 seed going into the bracket, so definitely a very strong opponent. Crying is running Infernape, Celebi, Swampert, Weavile, Mismagius, Fortress, Muck, and Pelipper. Let's take a look here. Celebi looks kind of annoying for CB. He doesn't have great grass resists. You have like Zapdos and Registeel, but like a Nasty Plot that could be really strong. Or it's a defensive set even. A defensive Celebi could be very good. Just have to watch out for Signal Beams from the Electrics and Suicune. So it might have to run a Tanga Berry, which isn't ideal, but it's not the end of the world. Infernape looks pretty solid here overall. Suicune and Zapdos check it, but if it can get some Seb going, or even it can just U-turn around on them. U-turning into Celebi on the Suicune is really good. U-turning into Weavile on the Zapdos is pretty good, albeit there are decent Weavile checks. We see a second Mismagius, so I could see CB running a similar Hitmontop set again. But if he thinks Crying Scout his first game, he might not want to run that exact set. Snorlax looking pretty strong. There's not a ton of taunt or phasing on Crying's team. It's like Roar, Swampert, taunt Mismagius, theoretically taunt Weavile, probably not. So, Snorlax looking pretty good for an endgame scenario. These hazards, once again, are kind of annoying for CB with the Fortress, so we have to be careful on that. And Fortress can spin, again, there's no spin blockers. Fortress can spin away a Hazard's Coolfish or a Registeel set up. This I honestly kind of lean Crying in this matchup. I think he has the slight edge here, but it's tough. The Electrics do look really good. Thunderbolt, Signal Beam, HP Grass coverage. I know, this is kind of a toss-up. I don't know. I'm not sure which way to go on this, but both sides have very good pieces into each other, to be sure. Let's get into CB on the left, Crying on the right. Zapdos lead into Fortress. Fortress gonna start to Muck immediately on the Heat Wave. Get 21% off, so that Muck's not going to take much. It might be specially defensive based on damage. Extension only doing 41 makes me think it is probably especially defensive. Poison Jab's going to come out, not do too much to Zapdos. You'll switch out to Registeel, not wanting to get poisoned, but Muck is going to actually rest up here. Going hard out to Infernape on the Registeel. Registeel's going to go for HP Fire, expecting the Fortress to come in. First to come out, go quick combat. Registeel is packing the Chople Berry. Okay, allows it to get a Brox here. And now you can just go out to Zapdos. And in very quick and close combat again means it's probably choiced. But it could not be. It was probably choice based on that. Might actually be banded. I'm not sure based on that damage to Zapdos. It very well could be. Zapdos get extra sensory. Celebi's going to trick a Scarf on Zapdos. Zapdos reveals the Expert Belt. So that U-turn move do a ton. But he still has 50 here. It's not bad damage. Would have done even more of the belt though. Registeel is going to come in here. As does Swampert. Out to Mismagius on the boom. Very good play from Crying catching that. That Registeel going down for no gain. And Snorlax going to come in here, get burned by the Mismagius. You're just going to crunch, do only 29. It's a very bulky Mismagius. And CB is not in a great position here at all. It's going to get mean looked in. So that means these last moves are probably Perish Song and Protect. They'll Protect first, get the burn champion bit of lefties. Of course, there's no reason not to. No reason to fire off the Perish Song until after that. Let's go reveal the Perish Song. So Snorlax is basically cooked now. Last I got, it needed to get like a defense drop there to have a chance, but it did not. Go Protect again. Yeah, now the Snorlax needs a crit to survive this. It needs a crit on this turn specifically. It doesn't matter, Mismagius gets the double Protect, so it won't matter. It's going to Fire Punch in case of a switch to Fortress. And now with Double Protect, which is 50% in this gen, so it's not as unlikely as future gens where it's only very, very. So it's going to self-destruct here, taking itself out, but we're doing 26 to Fortress. That's not that much with the burn. So he's going to come in, start Calm Mind. His Fortress is going to boom here. He's going to spin, take this opportunity, get rid of the rocks. Swampert's going to be the switch here. We're going to Surf for only 36. That's a pretty bulky Swampert. Surf again. Swampert's just going to roar out the Suicune now. And Zapdos comes in, but we know it's choice, so it doesn't have a great click here. Just get a U-turn out, expecting Celebi to come in. I'll predict HP Grass. But this gets in our Suicune. Once again, Swampert is going to rest as well, getting up to full. Going to start Calm Mind, but this is surely Rest Talk on the Swampert. The Sleep Talk is getting a roar, so Suicune is forced out into Quillfish. Back out to Suicune, but this Swampert is looking very frightening right now. Sleep Talk going to get the rest, but not much that... So yes, it's a Surf for like a quarter, but like, that's not going to help that much. Earthquake's going to come out, do some chip to Suicune. And Suicune's going to Protect here to get some extra lefties. Makes sense? You could go out to Zapdos on this turn. That's why I'm going to go Earthquake, so we get that play correct. But seems to be so far behind. I don't see him getting back into this. Yeah, U-turn. You can't ever like let something in on HP Grass. You just have to U-turn out into Suicune again. But you take an Earthquake for your trouble. He's really far behind at this point. Roar's going to come out. Protect does block Roar in this gen. It doesn't in some future gens. I know that. But Zapdos going to come in on our Earthquake. So CB is calling this Swampert's moves correctly, but might be a little too late. Even though he also almost have Earthquakes from the Treasure, so that's something. It's now just 2 left on pressure mods. HP Grass is going to do a ton of damage to the Swampert, but now Avian come in. Inferno's going to come in on Crying Side to take advantage, but CB's going to go for this weekend calling that. Going to Protect as Celebi comes in. We're going to Protect again, see what he wants to do. Celebi's going to get rocks, so is that... No, wait. Yeah, it's the one... I was like, dude, no, it's the wrong. I got rocks earlier, so never mind. Yeah, rocks are coming. We're going to trick the E-Bell into Jolteon and take the Damp Rock. So that means this is definitely Swift Swim Quillfish. Still, we're not going to do too much. Now, out to Muck on the HP Grass. So 2 E-Bells is very interesting. Oh, wait, no, no, I'm stupid. Never mind. This was Damp Rock. I'm not thinking. Suicune's going to come in as Muck's presumably going to Sleep Talk. Yep, it's going to get a rest. Not the best sleep turns for Crying, but I think he's in such a strong position it might not matter. Sleep Talking. Muck is packing Curse. Oh, wow. So it's Curse Poison Jab, expecting to be able to remove the Registeel early, and he did do that. He caught the Registeel on explosion, and now this Muck is very frightening. Poison Jab getting off 30%. Suicune's going to Surf, but it does less than half, only 48. Another Poison. Still no Poison Jab poison after, after 3 of them, I guess. That's we're going to take a Swampert with Surf, so maybe see if we can make some progress here. Mr. Mag's going to come in. Parastong, so to force this Suicune out, eventually we will take out the Mr. Mag with Surf. Inferno is going to come in. We're going to Protect the Suicune, get that lefties before switching out for the Parastong, of course. We know it's locked into U-turn now, so we're just going to let it do that, and then we'll switch out on the following turn. So we're just going to Surf and take out the Celebi from 25, so that's very strong. That's 3 KOs for Suicune right here. In comes the Muck. Suicune is forced out so it doesn't go down to Parasong. And in comes Zapdos on the Muck. Muck is going to rest up to full again. Zapdos is going to lock into Thunderbolt now if it wants. But it's going to lock into Extra Sensory. And Fortress is going to come in calling that very good play. We can't switch out, so it's just going to get up these spikes for free as we Extra Sensory it. Out to Suicune, not wanting to lay it, get up too much more momentum. But Fortress is going to call it and boom. That's huge. That Suicune going down is a big problem for CUB. We're going to bring in Jolteon. I probably have to Rain Dance here and try and get Quillfish in, but I don't know if there's enough turns. Mucky's going to Sleep Talking Curse, and that might just wrap up the game. Quillfish definitely can't do enough damage for that. Sack off the Zapdos to the rocks, try and maximize our rain turns and not get chip our Quillfish. Sleep Talking to rest. We're going to go into Quillfish here, but no way Waterfall does enough at plus 1 defense, right? It does 54 so with the Life Orb, but even if they have the boost, it wouldn't be enough. And Muck's going to Curse here, and our one won't KO. Unless we need a crit or a flinch to be in this game. We're going to go for 38 of the Life Orb. But it's not going to. This means eventually Inferno can just come in at the end and Earthquake no matter what happens here. Let's go Sleep Talk into Poison Jab, do 44. So Quillfish, the rain is gone. He will die to the next hit of Life Orb anyway. Just go boom, taking out the Muck. But we've seen before it's a very much choice, so it's probably Scarf and probably end the game like that. And it's going to Mach Punch and KO the Jolteon. So that's what it was packing. It probably was Band-Aid if it's packing Mach, which I think from the damage row we may know it was Band-Aid from the close combat damage into Zapdos. So a very close nail biter, but Crying is gonna manage to regain control at the end and take home the 1-0 win, knocking CBB down to loser's bracket. So yeah, that's a rough break for CBB, but he can still claw his way back into the finals. I mean, through the loser's bracket, if you know what I mean. Anyway, cool muck set. I think calling the Registeel going down early was smart. Band-Aid Fairy looks really good into here. Good Miss Maggie set, just like very prep from Crying, and cool prep from CB too. I like that E-belt, but obviously getting tricked to Scarf really sucked. And the Rain Dance into Kovic makes sense. Crying's War Resist aren't the best. So yeah, overall pretty good game, but CB is gonna fall down to the losers bracket here. So let's go into our third game. Alright, so our third game, I believe this is top 12 at this point. So CBB is facing off against DT1 champion and top 8 performer last time, Nintago Foxo. One of the most consistent DB draft players in the scene, so not an easy opponent. Tago, as we saw in the Mad Sheen stream, is still packing Starmie, Scissor, Rose Raid, Gliscor, Rotom, Regirock, Arcanine, and that Raticate. So looking at this matchup, the ground type is Gliscor, and Rose Raid is the grass type. So Jolteon looks freaking fantastic here. I mean, Thunderbolt, HP Ice, like Shallow Ball, like Tago does not really switch into it. His best response is your Yachi, Gliscor, or like Def Regirock, which I guess isn't terrible here as a set. But Jolteon looks freaking buck wild here. Zapdos also looks very strong for a similar reason, and it's also very difficult for Tago to break offensively. Zapdos is obviously really fat, and there's not a ton outside, maybe like Storages from Regirock backing up PP Stall, maybe a Swords Dance Gliscor, but then Yachi. It's just a whole can of worms Tago might not want to open. Snorlax also looks pretty good. We keep seeing teams with no fighting type, and that opens up Snorlax a lot. Yet, however, the norm resist on the air team probably wants to fit coverage, so it's kind of hard to figure out which specific set is going to run or what coverage is going to want. Obviously, it wants like Dark and Fire and like a move for Regirock. So we'll have to see what he brings there. Starmie is pretty scary as it always is, but Registeel's Snorlax are about as good checks as you can ask for. Scissor is also kind of neutered by CB having 5 really good Steel resists, and 3 of those also resist U-turn and the Intimidator. Like, Scissor might not even come in this matchup. He has a really rough time here. I will say Rose Ray can give spikes, and Tox Spikes are both kind of nice here, and Rotom can spin block him on top. It's added bulk over Miss Magius, gives you a bit more chance to stay in versus dark moves. Yeah, I know. This matchup severely favors CBB regardless. I just don't see much Tago can do about against in this matchup outside try and get Starmie repeatedly or try and get some sort of cheese Gliscor sweep going. But let's get into the game. See CB on the left, Tago on the right. Suicune, we see the Raticate coming for another game. It's Weed with Taunt. So we can just go surf doing, holy shit, that's 91%. But knowing that he's going to Endeavor, we go into the Snorlax catching Endeavor, but it probably dies even after Citrus, yeah. Double's going to take it out, but Raticate's going to go down. I mean, we just trade Raticate for Snorlax, which is a very good trade for Tago. I mean, Snorlax is a much higher value Pokemon than Raticate. We see Lumberry on the Zapdos to catch the Sleep Powder, and we're going to Heat Wave. So it's either a slower Zapdos or it's like a Scarf Rose Raid. Sleep Power's going to miss, we're going to hit the Registeel. But Registeel is also packing a Lumberry, so it's getting up the rocks here. 2 Lumberries super from CMB, super respecting the Sleep Powder Rose right here. Gliscor is going to come in as we double out to Zapdos. Very good play from CMB, not wanting to let in Gliscor on Sleeping Registeel. Starmie's going to come in, catch the HP Ice. Very solid, but I guess he's going to force out Zapdos because Zapdos does not want to take a big Ice Beam. Starmie is going to Light Screen, and then take a Thunderbolt. Excuse me. Gliscor is going to come in here. So this is an opportunity for Gliscor to try and do something. It's going to go for a Swords Dance as Jolteon is going to Rain Dance again. HPI to 65 through the Light Screen. Oh my god. Bite, Salicberry, Gliscor. Wow. With rocks. What a set. Earthquake's going to take out the Jolteon here. What a crazy Gliscor set. But we're going to have, because we have the Rain Quillfish that will outspeed because of the rain and take it out. So really cool Gliscor set from Tago's side, but obviously it didn't work out. Quillfish is going to do 73. That's a ton of damage. And get the flinch on Regirock. That's really unfortunate. Probably KO'd with an Earthquake there. Or a Boom. But now Quillfish is going to claim another one as that goes down. In comes the Starmie. We just have to sack Mons over and over. Yeah. Waterfall is going to come out, take out the Starmie as well. Rose Raid comes in again. We just have Saka. Everything's so low. This rain just allowed it to pick up 4 kills. And Arcane's going to command last Pokemon. Arcanine might also be in KO this, but it's not going to matter. He's got E-Speed. Get a KO to Quillfish, but it's a little too late. I'm pretty sure Suicune just wins. Even with the Life Orb on the Arcanine, I can't do enough damage to you. Get a Double Edge. Wow, it's neutral coverage, but yeah, Surf's just going to take it out. So yeah, pretty dominant win from CUB here. Quillfish putting on an absolute clinic, showing why I think it's one of the best spikers in the format. Because it forces so much pressure with spikes, and it can pivot to a rain offense mode at any time. It can run. It has a lot of utility. I love Quillfish, and CUB doing work with it in these last few games. Yeah, it was pretty good game. So I didn't see too much, but the double Lumberry on Zapdos from Registeel was very good. Really respected the sleep power from Rose Raid in understanding that Tago's team has a lot of stay-up potential, so you don't want to let your Pokemon go to sleep early and get taken advantage of. CUB made a lot of really good doubles to play around that, and it paid off. Really cool set from Tago. I really like the screens idea into Salic, SD, Gliscor, and Roxanne. There's pretty cool roll compression, but unfortunately for Tago, the Quillfish was in the back with the rain. Cool Raticate lead. I assume this was to catch like Registeel most likely, but it did basically trade for a Snorlax, which was really good. Unfortunately, we didn't really get to see the Regirock set. And Double Edge is an interesting choice on Arcanine. I guess it's like good neutral coverage into like both Snorlax and Suicune if you can only fit one move. So yeah, good win by CB though. He will be advancing to top 8. Alright, so in top 8. Yeah, top 8, he is up against Sleepy, the reigning Emerald Open champion. So CUB's opponents are not getting any easier here. Another fantastic Old Gems player. On the Sleepy side, we see Dragonite, Raikou, Skarmory, Donphan, Miltank, Skuntank, Driftblim, and Fione. Love me some Fione. It's a very funny guy. It's not very good, but it's a funny guy. Actually, I guess it could do something here. It's kind of an okay Suicune answer. But looking at the matchup overall, D-Knight is very, very scary. Very scary. The one issue is that Sleepy doesn't pressure Registeel well at all. So Registeel can probably stay healthy. But if Registeel gets low, this D-Knight is a freaking problem. So CUB's gonna have to preserve health on his Registeel like it's his lifeline, because it really is here. Raikou into no ground type once again is very strong. I don't think Trapinch comes here because if it has to run like Banded for Raikou and then it walks into Earthquake and then D-Knight. Yeah, no, it's not coming. So realistically, probably a bulkier Jolteon and like Snorlax are the main checks, because you need like a physically defensive Registeel really, or at least a mixed def to take on Dragonite effectively. The Ghost type being Driftblim helps a bit with the spinning because you can just Stone Edge it for a ton of damage. So the spikes are going to be a bit hard to keep up for Sleepy as some of the previous opponents. Donphan's a very good experience to his team. Very, very good experience to his team. So going to be tough for CB to keep rocks up or even spikes for that matter. Let's see. Snorlax is really good though. There's some taunt. There's a little bit of phasing. But Snorlax just looks very strong in this matchup as a whole. If you can get rid of the Skarmory or in like the Driftblim, Boom just claims one here. Like this team does not enjoy taking Boom that well at all. Hitmontop's also looks okay. Like close combat's pretty good. Close combat Stone is pretty good here, pretty free, and then you can run spin and whatever last move you want. So Hitmontop looks pretty good offensively here. Jolteon's solid. That Dragonite and that Raikou is scaring me so much, but I think I still lean CB here. I think the rest of his team can handle Sleepy's squad very well. But we'll see what she brings. Yeah, I think I'm going to lean CB here, but Sleepy can definitely do very well with these top 2 threats, which are very strong in CBB. Hey, CB on the left, Sleepy on the right. 2 fantastic compares. Let's get into the game. Let's see, Zapdos, quick sub on the Miltank Stealth Rock, so that's pretty big. We're just going to get that off immediately. Go Discharge, start getting some chip and potentially a Paralysis. Body Slam is not going to break the sub. That means there's a really bad position for Sleepy here. Go Discharge again as Miltank's going to Milk Drink to stay healthy. Go Discharge again. Likely you get power eventually, and there it is. Go Body Slam to break the sub, but Miltank's obviously forced out here as Zapdos gets quick sub again. In comes the Raikou. We just fire off an HP ground, calling that switch. Wow. Getting some good damage off. Raikou's going to quick Thunder. Wow, I did not expect that HP ground's going to come out to a Tone Edge. That's an unfortunate miss, but I'm sure Thunder's first like a specific role, but you know, sometimes that's the risk you take. HP ground can come off to 46 to Raikou, but it's presumably running Sleep Talk on the set if I had to guess. In comes the Miltank on the HP ground. Good call, but Zapdos can just sub again. This is Zapdos on lead, just doing so much work. Miltank's gonna heal bell, get that sleep off of the Raikou. Very smart. I like that. I like that plan a lot from Sleepy. Getting off another para though, and Bison honestly doesn't break the sub. So this Zapdos is just in a very, very strong position early on. Get a crit. So that means Miltank can't break the sub here either. Raikou comes back out. Gonna start calm minding it. We're gonna Hidden Power, get off 29. So now Raikou has to hit a move on this though. Go ahead, click rest, but we are risking eventually a Hidden Power ground crit event. We'll see. HP ground doing 31, not that much, so Raikou can rest this off eventually, and HP ground will be PP stalled by pressure over time. Raikou's gonna stay in, stay asleep, but this is a great opportunity for CB to bring in his Snorlax. We're gonna curse up as the Skarmory comes in. Skarmory has to Whirlwind here if it's packing it. Snorlax is just gonna Focus Punch, Skarmory spikes, and then Focus Punch is 46. You have Focus Punch again. Skarmory's just got Brave Bird to break the focus. But this Snorlax still looking very, very scary. And it gets Lefty's recovery here too. Go for a second curse. And we're going to finally get Whirlwind out. But back into Zapdos. That's the worst possible situation for Sleepy here. HP Ground's going to come out calling the Zapdos switch, but it's not going to get it. Whirlwind's going to go and bring in the Suicune. But that's just another Pokemon that can take advantage of Skarmory here. So we're going to go out to the Fione. And we're going to Surf here. Do a tiny bit of damage to it. So we're going to go sub. So another substitute. And Fione's just going to try and knock off Bobs that does literally nothing to substitute. Just like 2%. Going to start calling Suicune. We're going to Grass Knot with the Fione. I didn't even know we got Grass Knot. I thought we only got Energy Ball. So that extra power is nice. Calm again with Suicune. And we're going to see Psych Up on the Fione. Super cool tech from Sleepy. As a way to 1v1 the Suicune. In comes the Registeel though, but that means this thing only has its last move is probably a water move. We're gonna knock off Registeel's Expert Belt. Expert Registeel's interesting. It's probably for some specific KOs, likely to 2-hit KO Raikou of Earthquake if I had to guess, and also to do more damage to Skarm with Thunderbolt. And yeah, that's an unfortunate power because this is a very fast Registeel too. A ton of speed in this thing. DN's gonna come in. Surely this thing's packing a nice move. It was E-Belt, right? Earthquake, we're just gonna boom, and Dragonite is down. CBZ have a very commanding position here. The Raikou's going to come back in, but he has another rest turn. So it's going to take a lot of hazards here. Out to the Drift Blim. That is Sleepy's last Pokemon she's been keeping in the back. We're going to go for a return for Snorlax. Not do anything into this, of course. But Drift Blim's going to miss the Will-O-Wisp and give Snorlax a free curse. That's unfortunate. It's going to miss a second Will-O-Wisp. Oh no, and now Ice Punch can do a ton of damage. It is Citrus Berry, also it's going to get a bit of health back, but it's still in range of another Ice Punch. Out to Jolteon in case to cover the Will-O-Wisp now. Give a miss again, so no extra chip on Jolteon there. 75% accurate misses is rough. Jolteon's going to come out, just discharge into the Raikou. Raikou does have a turn of sleep to burn here, though. We're just going to roar out with the Jolteon. Bring in Fion, get some more chip on it. Now we just can fire off an electric move pretty freely. Yeah, Raikou's going to come in. It's at 32 now. He's going to discharge. Is it a 2-hit KO? No, not after leftovers. Is Jolteon packing HP ground? Raikou's faster. Oh no, Jolteon just clicked roar. I was like, why is Raikou faster? Bringing the Fion back in again for another huge electric move. These double electrics have been putting on so much pressure for CBB. I really like how they've been working out. It's not a composition we see very frequently, but it's been very effective for him. We're going to roar out the Raikou again, so it's a sleep turn, but that brings in Drift Boom. Drift Boom's super low now, but now Drift Boom's in range of rocks. She switches out, but Drift Boom's in range of rocks. We're going to roar here. Drift Boom is going to go down. Sleepy's down, just 2 Pokemon remaining. Raikou and Fion. We're going to go for a sleep turn on Raikou, and then, yeah. I mean, Cycle, it could eventually run out of roars or discharges with Raikou not taking that much MB and having, like, the pressure. Jolteon reveals Wish for its last move. Oh, wow. Raikou's going to wake up quick HP ground blade. Shuckaberry Jolteon eating that. Go roar it out to get more chip layer and force in the Fion. And get a ton of health back on this Jolteon. The Raikou is going to come back in. But yeah, Sleepy's kind of just flailing around at this point. There's not really a way for her to get back into the game, barring like specifically there, like a crit HP ground. I don't see much else she can do here, yeah. Go roar it out, and this cycle is really not favoring Sleepy. I'm going to Wish here. It's go Raikou's going to rest again, we can just roar it out. Every time we do this, the Fion gets a little bit lower. Yep, and the record's going back in. I mean, we're seeing this cycle go over and over, but it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't really see a way for Sleepy to get back into the game. We're going to go for Snorlax. And we know he has another sweep. Snorlax can get off a free curse or a hit here. Let's go return for a crit for 100%. Wow, that's just an Oko. That's unfortunate, but based on crit damage, it would 2 killed anyway, so it wouldn't really matter. So I'm just going to return and take out the Fion. So yeah, see if we can take him a dominant 5-0 win here. And I'll be honest, this was not close. Like, he was in the driver's seat the entire game. The Weed sub Zapdos just did pressured this team so much and did so much damage early on for so many rough positions for Sleepy to try and take advantage of. And Sleepy was able to take good spots from that. The focus punch of Snorlax is a way to answer Scar. Makes a lot of sense. If it tries to roost, you can just blow it away. Yeah, I love offensive Registeel. E-Belt Registeel is really cool. I've run that myself a few times, like offensive like E-Belt Registeel or like Zap Plate or whatever. I've run various offensive items on Registeel. I think it's a very underrated way to use it. And running that speed to be faster than Swarm was really cool. Pretty standard Raikou Tech Jolteon. Sometimes it packs HP ground, but this is pretty much what you do with Jolteon when you go up into Raikou. So not that surprising there. Nothing too crazy on Sleepy side. So Wilsmith sucks. The one crazy thing was this Fion, which was a really cool set. I have not seen anyone use that before. You know, when you think of like a move like Heart Swap on Manphy, which absolutely screws over Suicune, but Psycho Fion was kind of a take on that, which did do his job. It forced out the Suicune. It didn't like win in the end, but it did force out the Suicune, which is pretty cool. But with that, CB is going to move in onto the top 6. Our next round moves back onto top 6. Okay. In the top 6, CB's opponent is Nate Dogg, who we saw last stream going up against Mad Sheen. So we do have here, we have on the inside, we have Infernape, Gengar, Bronzong, Gyarados, another Donphan, Honchkrow, Regice, and Grumpig. So second Donphan we've seen. And as we said before, Infernape is scary, but you do have good pivots into it if you can get the predictions right. And Gengar's a really hard time into Snorlax, Registeel. Gyarados too, like into double electric Suicune, like even Registeel, like this. Nate Dogg's offensive core is gonna have a lot of difficulty putting on pressure here. Maybe Honchkrow do something because the Dark Resist aren't great, and you like Superpower and Brave Bird, but I think it's gonna be really hard for Nate Dogg to make any progress. Regice looks pretty decently offensively though. Like outside the, you probably need like Focus Blast for Snorlax, which kind of sucks. So maybe it won't come, but. And on CUB's side, the only Electricist is the Donphan, so the Electric types are looking very strong to just make progress the whole game. Suicune is incredibly difficult for Nate to deal with. I see like no phasing. I see very low taunt. Well, I see Donphan's facing basically a Die to Surf. And Nate doesn't have a ton of taunt on his team either, so this week going very scary. He could set up on a lot of the team too. Stuff like Infernape blocks into a fire move, or Gyarados in general, or Donphan that's not packing Roar. So Suicune looks very, very scary here. Snorlax, interesting matchup. Gengar and Bronzong do kind of check it pretty well defensively. Infernape can break through offensively, but if it can get going, as always, is a Snorlax, it can always win the game. But yeah, I think this matchup pretty heavily favors CBB. There's not too much to say. It's pretty clear cut that he has the advantage in this one. Let's get into the game. CBB on the left, Nate Dogg on the right. Registeel lead into Infernape, so switch out to Donphan as we get the rocks. Not wanting to take like a boom on turn 1, that makes sense. Getting Suicune as Donphan is just going to spin, but it's a great position for Suicune. We know, as I mentioned, Suicune's very scary in this matchup. It's going to sub as the Donphan just going to roar. So good play by Nate, getting 25% off on the Suicune, scouting for that. Return's going to get a crit to 67. That's a ton of damage. Earthquake is a 2 kill though. But also, that's a super fast Snorlax if it's being a Donphan. That's a ton of speed on it. And Head Smash is going to do 98. Take the Zapdos down to a Citrus Berry, because Zapdos will get a little bit of health back. And Infernape is going to come in. Living a Head Smash, that might have been a roll. I don't know. Infernape got a quick flare, but it's resisted by Snorlax, but he does get the burn. It will reveal it's not choice and just U-turn out here. And Gengar is going to come in as the Razor comes in. We're going to Mean Lux, so this might be another Power Song set. Yeah, people have been really liking trapping Power Trap into CUB. It makes sense. His team does have some more passive defensive pieces. I get it. So this Gengar can just stall until the Registeel dies, basically, at this point. However, Registeel can at least get rocks up, so it did make some progress, even if it's going to go down here. But Nate, he has to fear like a boom. Yeah, he's gonna sub-super. We're just gonna Thunderbolt, not let that happen. So he's gonna let the Gengar go down. He's sitting all away if he can potentially take a boom. Fair enough. See the Grumpig come in as the Jolteon. Jolteon's gonna quick Shadow Ball. Huge 57%. Grumpy's going to get a 49 of Psychic, so it's not bad damage, but it's not doing much here. It just gets 2 KO'd. Yeah, I'm not sure what the Grumpig was meant to do here. Bronzong is going to come in. This forces it out into Zapdos, maybe being scared of a boom. Bronzong's going to get up the rocks here. Very play from CUB to get in before rocks. Gyarados is just going to come in, but Zapdos is going to roost. And unless the Gyarados is Scarf, Zapdos just Thunderbolt it to hell. Gyarados is good. DD. It's a pretty fast Gyarados. It's with Calm Berry, but it might die through it. Yeah. Gyarados, after rocks, I mean, Zapdos is strong enough natural special attack. The Thunderbolt's going to KO for Wukong. Go for the Stone Edge with Infernape. Barely not KO. Or get up the Rain Dance. The first can KO if U-turn, but the last Pokemon is surely Quillfish again, right? Bronzong comes in. We're just going to go into Suicune, though, taking advantage of the Rain Boost to get stronger Surfs off. We're going to sub here. Take a Grass Knot, and that doesn't break the sub. Holy shit. That is a super special event, so Suicune if Bronzong Grass Knot isn't breaking the sub. Earthquake's going to come out, but, I mean, this game is over. Like, you can just sub up on it. Just going to Surf anyway, do 46. Take an Earthquake, does minuscule damage. Surf again. We know it's a 2 KO from this range, even without the rain. And Boom's going to come out KOing the Suicune, but Infernape I don't think can win from this position, right? Jolteon's going to come in. Jolteon's going to go Thunderbolt. And Jolteon's going to take home the win. So, very clean 2-0 win for CB. Obviously, one big Criteroid, but overall pretty clean game. Rain Dance, again, Rain Dance. The Rainbow is really cool on CB's team. I like that a lot. And he's brought it a lot. Head Smash, Donphan was smart. Makes sense. Perish Trap Gengar, once again, doing stuff. I don't remember did Mismag trap the Registeel? I don't remember if it trapped Registeel or something. I think it trapped the Snorlax, but same concept. And Gyarados just showing, I mean, still a good Pokemon, but I don't like it because, like, you really have to position it perfectly to get the sleep off. And even with the Wakam Berries, that was just too naturally powerful. Cool Bronzong, Grass Knot makes a lot of sense to Suicune. And Grumpig was here, I guess. So, but yeah, with that, CUB moves into top 4. So semifinals of the losers bracket, and he is going to have a rematch, kind of. He is playing against Crying again, but because it's a rematch in Top Cut, they will be playing using their pool's teams. So he'll be returning to CUB's old team from the last time he was on stream of Raikou, Suicune, Roserade, Bronzong, Mismagius, Hitmonchan, Snorlax, and Onix. This time we see Mismagius on CUB's side after seeing a bunch of them on his opponent's side so far. On Crying's side, we're packing the Roam Appliance. I just put Heat here for demonstration purposes because I think that's the most likely into like Bronzong, Roserade. And then we also have Tyranitar opposing Roserade. So it's Roserade Mirror, Swampert, Tauros, Blastoise, Base Mawile, and Moltres. Sorry, 1 second, folks. We're still good, right? Yeah, we're still good. Sorry, something was weird on my end, but technical difficulties. But yeah, let's see. Sorry, I was distracted by technical difficulties. I'm back now. So looking at the matchup here, first of all, I noticed Suicune is very, very scary. Yes, there's like a Roam. Yes, there's a Roserade, but Suicune has quite a few Pokemon I can try and set up on, like the Blastoise, like the Tyranitar, if they aren't packing Roar. So I kind of force the moves on them regardless. Tauros is kind of interesting, but Bronzong is a pretty solid check to it. And Crying honestly doesn't have the great ways to deal with Bronzong outside Moltres, but Moltres has difficulty with rocks in this matchup because Blastoise can spam Mismag, but you know it does take Surfs decently well with its natural special bulk. So the spikes and hazards from CB side can be very potent here. Hitmonchan, can't ever really spin on Roam Heat, like Roam Appliance. I've tried like a Fling set, like a bulk up Fling before. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't do enough damage to Roam to spin on it on most spreads. So hazards going up on CB side probably gonna be stuck up here unless he's like me running Foresight Hitmonchan. I don't know how you're gonna fit that. Like you need, well, actually, you need what, like Close Combat, Mach, like what movie? A Close Combat, Mach Punch, Foresight, Rapid Spin, maybe. I don't know. Snorlax looking pretty scary. Only real switch in is Rotom. I guess kind of T-Tar, but not really. So yeah, Snorlax looks very, very strong here. T-Tar's weird. Like Stone Edge is difficult for CUB to switch into outside the Bronzong, and so is Crunch. But like, if they Hitmonchan comes, that does just kind of kill it with Mach Punch. And Suicune and Bronzong are decent switch-ins, but I think a Banded T-Tar could definitely do work here, though. Like, its stabs are very, very spammable. Or even Scarf. I can see Scarf as well. Because Scarf just barely has to beat Raikou, which is pretty relevant in this matchup. This is a tough one to call. God, these are... when we have two really good players with two really good drafts in this bracket in Top Cut, it's so hard to call the matchups here. I think I do have to lean slightly on CBB's side. I think he has a slight advantage in this. Let's get into it. CB on the left, Crying on the right. Their second game after playing originally in winner's bracket. Can CB get his revenge? Raikou's going to go for extrasensory. Hit this Rosary for good 40%. Rosary get a spike there. Quick extrasensory, get up 36. Rosary's going to get the 10% flinch. How unfortunate. Out to the Rotom Heat. I was just going to Aura Spear here calling a T-Tar. So that is a hit into it. We're almost going to trick a Scarf onto the Raikou and get Shucker Berry for his troubles. Switching in the Rosary as T-Tar comes out. Obviously expecting extra, because the Raikou is locked in extrasensory. It is Scarf, as I mentioned it might be. And we're going to have a spike with Rosary, but now we're super low from the sand in the crunch. Preserving as a sack and just going into Bronzong, taking a whopping 40%. T-Tar does so much damage. My God. We get up the Roxy, but Blastoise we're going to try and spin. We pretty much have to go into Miss Magius here if we want to stop that. But he's going to click Foresight. So that is a free spin here. Except Rosary's going to come in, go down to the spikes and prevent the spin. Very good play from CB there. And he can go back into Miss Mag, and now he has to Foresight again. We're going to give a nasty problem Miss Mag. Foresight into Miss Magius, but so can Blastoise get up the spin here? It needs to survive a +2 hit. Man, it's going to Energy Ball. It's not going to KO, and the spin will come off. And with Rosary down, these spikes are gone for the rest of the game. Now, okay, I just have to sack Blastoise here, but it's pretty well. We're going for a Shallow Ball. Presumably in comes a Pursuit T-Tar, or a Tauros, I guess. Tauros does get Pursuit, but he's just going to quick return. Because, as I learned, the Miss Magius is still affected by Foresight, even after the Blastoise went down. So, return would have hit. Go return again, get a tiny bit of chip on the Bronzong. We get rocks back up. Oh, and I forgot to mention this. I just bear on this. Anyway, in comes the Rotom as we go into Miss Magius. We know Rotom's no longer Scarf, so Shallow is very frightening to it. Tauros is going to come in as we use Game Power fighting. Yeah, 56%. That's pretty good damage. And Tauros can't return this time because it's no longer Foresighted. Out to Swampert as a good HP fighting again. You get a tiny bit of chip. Is Swampert in range of Energy Ball? I'm not sure. But it reveals to be Scarf Swampert, so triple Scarfers on Crying side. Scarf Swampert, Scarf Tyranitar, and Scarf Rotom, really wanting that speed control. Suicune's going to come in, start Calm Minding, as Rosary has the switch on Crying side. Presumably it's a fast Rosary, but I don't know what it can do. But Suicune's actually faster, so Ice Beam's just going to take it out from this range. Tauros is going to come in, Crying's timer is getting very low. We have to keep that in mind. We're just going to Endeavor with the Tauros, but the Suicune is Citrus Berry, so another Citrus Berry. Getting it back up to 39. That's pretty decent health and 30 free. And now the Tauros is going to go down. Scarf T-Tar is going to come in. Crunch is going to be clicked, but he's not going to KO the Suicune. I don't know the roll, but Suicune's going down sand. But that gets a huge 2/3 of Tyranitar's health gone right there. Raikou is going to come in. It reveals to be... Oh, wait. It was choice... Right, because it was tricked to Scarf. So we're HP probably Fighting Event, I guess. HP Grass. Take out the Tyranitar. We're going to bring in... Rotom. Rotom can have a rest here. So Raikou is locked in HP Grass. Has to switch out into the Snorlax. So Rotom is going to click a move. Except it's not Sleep Talk, so it's just going to take a Seed Bomb to the face. A little bit of chip. Go Wake Up. It's going to click moves. Burning the Snorlax. Is the Snorlax warm this time? It is not. Crunch could come out doing 24. Rotom can just try and rest again. He is going to do just that. We are going to crunch again, so we need some defense drops or crits if we're going to break through this. And Snorlax is losing 18% return between the burn and the sand. For one more crunch, and Rotom will survive the sand just barely there. Snorlax is going to get very low. Rotom's just going to rest again, presumably. Yep. And Snorlax is just going to click one more crunch as it goes out to do a bit of chip. Yep. Number 27 on the Rotom, and Snorlax is going to go down to sand. Raikou comes in, presumably going to lock into Shallow Ball here, I had to guess. No, lock into HP Grass, get 26% off, but it should free a KO through the sand. Well, through the rest, I mean. You can HP Grass. Rotom has to sleep again this turn, and this is probably the end of the game. Swampert is... Well, we know Swampert's Scarf, but because this Raikou is tricked to Scarf, it will be faster than Scarf Swampert. take a drink Paradise and Scarf. But yeah, and because of the crying tricking the Scarf onto Raikou, that's actually going to end the game. I mean, you probably still need a waterfall flinch on the Bronzong, maybe. Actually, no, Soren's super healthy, yeah. This Raikou and Amatrick Scarf maybe crying still a shot, but yeah. CUB's going to get his vengeance here and take out Crying in the losers bracket after losing Crying in the winners bracket round 2. Very cool mismatch. I like the nasty pot free attacks to take advantage of the Blastoise. Very good. Then we also do crazy. We saw Trick, Rest, Rotom. I mean, it's pretty basic stuff. Endeavor, Tauros is cool. Foresight, Blastoise is cool. Tauros take advantage of the Foresight was neat. I never would have evolved that because before this game I had no idea it worked that way. But yeah, CUB's going to take home a win and move on to losers finals. So he'll be going back to his redraft team here. And CUB's going to be facing off against Alpha, who made it to winners finals and fell to Mad Sheen, as we saw in the last stream. So Alpha's team is the Quad Rock, as we've seen a few times this week. Tyranitar, Aerodactyl, Armaldo, Golem, alongside a Gyarados, Lucario, Venusaur, and Mesprit. So Quad Rock into, like, Hitmontop, Registeel is rough. Like, Alpha's team has a Wild Troll breaking down Registeel, except for specifically Lucario. And Lucario doesn't have the easiest time into Zapdos, Suicune. Even, like, Hitmontop can intimidate if it wants. Or you can just, like, run, like, Technician, Mach Punch, and Bullet back. As we've seen before, Gyarados is just terrible in the CUB's team. I don't even know if it comes. Like, genuinely, I think one of the bottom 2 rocks might be a better bring than Gyarados here, which is weird to say. Snorlax looks very strong. Even if it doesn't run normal stab, like, it can just run, like, Curse and, like, Earthquake or something, like, Thunder Punch. I don't know. Snorlax looks very good. And Suicune into Quad Rock obviously is very, very strong. It just when Fizz and set up on freaking everything. Like, Venusaur's the only real check to it. And outside of, like, Power Whip, Venusaur can't really do much back. It probably has to run Power Whip here to answer that. But Suicune is also fast and just, like, Ice Beam it away with after a couple of Calm Lines. Jolteon and Zapdos looking very frightening with the ground type being Golem. That probably isn't coming, but it might come because of double electrics. But overall, I think this match is pretty clearly in CUB's favor. I don't see a ton Alpha can do to make progress here outside specifically Lucario. Let's get into our last game of the stream. And our last game before tomorrow's grand finals at 3 p.m. EST, 9 p.m. GMT +1, which is their time zone in Europe for both our finalists. Let's get into the last game today. Suicune into Tyranitar. We're going to see Surf come out, hit the patch, only do 20%. Tyranitar's going to Thunder Punch for 39. Get the Paras, that's pretty big on Suicune, especially if it isn't packing Rest. Low Kick doing 28, so now it's in range of a Thunder Punch. We're going to Surf for 39, but we are in range of a Thunder Punch now, so we do have to switch out if he wants to preserve this. He does. He goes out to Zapdos. Thunder Punch doing 29 to Zapdos. Not bad damage, and it's not lefties. I'm guessing it's Citrus Berry, but anyway, HP Fighting takes out the Tyranitar. The Sand is getting some good chip on it. In comes Armaldo, as I predicted, well, of the rocks when the will come. Swords Dance Armaldo, very cool, but it's going to be a fast Iron Head. Actually, I think in natural speeds. So Iron Head Registeel will come out and do 48, just under half, but the second one's going to take out with a higher roll. Low Kick doesn't get the Registeel because of the Chopple Berry. Lucario's going to come in, fire a close combat. CUB doesn't want anything else to take that. Registeel kind of did his job, so he's going to let it go down here. Zapdos comes in as Ampha's go out to Mesprit, as Zapdos gets off the roost, back up to full, minus the Sand Chip, of course. Go for a Thunderbolt, do 39 to Mesprit. Mesprit's going to get up rocks. Okay, fair enough for play from Ampha's side. Another Thunderbolt to do 45. That's not bad damage. That headbutt going to come out do 41 to Zapdos. Good chip. It is in range of another one if it doesn't roost here, but it's going to roost, obviously. There's no reason not to. Mesprit's going to Zen headbutt and miss the Zapdos. That's really rough. That would have been able to keep Zapdos kind of low, at least for a while, but now it's healthy, and Venusaur comes in, eating the Thunderbolt pretty well, but gets paralyzed for his troubles. Both sides hit by a 10% power chance this game. He was going to come out to 48 to Venu. Venusaur can fire off a Sludge Bomb, but he does under half. Zapdos can roost this off outside of the threat of poison. Ampha's going to go into Arrow on the Heat Wave. Very, very smart play from Ampha there. Very good offensive pressure. Rock Slide is going to take out the Zapdos through the Chardy Berry. It actually reveals to be Life Orb. In comes Hitmontop. Is Intimidate, pretty much forcing out this Aerodactyl because -1 Aero Ace or Wing Attack isn't going to do enough. Out to Suicune as Mesprit comes in. Mesprit can just take this out of his Zen Headbutt if it so likes. And we'll do that, connecting this one, so Suicune will go down. So see, I can bring a Pokemon from the back. He bringing Jolteon, get Thunderbolt down this Mesprit, take it out. In comes the Venusaur. Venusaur's pretty low. I guess Jolteon might not have a move to hit, or it might be choice. Snorlax's going to come out to trade one to Snorlax, but Snorlax is probably immunity here anyway, so no chance at a poison. Snorlax is going to start cursing now. Venusaur is just going to Leech Seed. Okay, that might help a bit. Obviously, Snorlax's huge HP stack can give a big amount of HP back to Venusaur. Turtle's going to come out to 53, take out the Venusaur. We get some more Sand Chip, but we aren't getting Leech Seed this turn. Arrow's going to come in. Quick Rock Slide on Snorlax, get 22% off. Snorlax is just going to boom, though, taking out the Aerodactyl, and now it's just Lucario left into Hitmontop and Jolteon. Jolteon's going to come in. Quick Thunderbolt, getting some chip on it. Lucario's going to KO close combat, but now that that's done, clearly, Hitmontop, if it's attacking Mach Punch, can just win easily. And it's just packing it, so Hitmontop's going to finish off the game, taking out the Lucario here. I presume that was like playing around an E-Speed crit on Jolteon or something. Like playing around, whipping a Mach Punch, KOing Hitmontop with a crit and an E-Speed Jolteon crit. But yeah, on the back of Hitmontop, CB's going to take home the win, moving into Grand Finals. Very nice Zapdos set. I like the HP fighting on that a lot. Really cool bring. Curse, Self-Destruct, Snorlax makes sense. Alpha Side, I'm really happy Armor kind of did stuff. Obviously, it didn't really work out, but it was cool. Nothing too crazy prep was on your side here, but see, we can outplay and just take home the win. And that will move us into Grand Finals for tomorrow. I don't have them on the matchup doc, but I will put them up here. So here are our matchups. Tomorrow we will be seeing Magic and CUV face off with their redraft teams. Magic's Metagross, Flygon, Rotom Core versus CUV's Zapdos, Suicune, Snorlax, and of course all our supporting pieces. So this is very exciting. This game is in 23 hours from the time of me posting this stream, approximately, of the stream ending. So I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. I will obviously ping the server. I'll be streaming it live. And have a good day, everyone.